So moving along from insurance, there are other costs that are necessary when you own a vehicle. So there's two different kinds. There's variable and fixed. We're going to talk about both of those briefly. Basically, once you buy a car, there's more than just car payments and insurance that you have to deal with. You have to put gas in the car. You have to make any sort of repairs. You have oil changes that you should get on your car regularly if you want it to last you a while. So these are all things that are considered when you're calculating what's called your cost per mile. So variable costs are, if you're familiar with variables from algebra, they change. Things that you don't know that they're going to be exactly the same from month to month. So you don't know how much you're going to spend on gas month per month because you don't, gas prices change. You may, unfortunately have a blowout as you're driving down the road and you have to buy a whole new tire, or maybe you need a whole new set of tires. These are things that you don't know for sure, that you can't with 100% certainty say what the costs are going to be each month. And then you've got your fixed costs. Your fixed costs are the ones that, they don't change. Like your car payment, you know exactly how much it's going to be every single month. Your insurance every single month, you know what that's going to be. If there's any sort of registration fee that you have to pay for your car, and that's usually about once a year, the little sticker that you put on your license plate and that kind of stuff. So we're going to kind of split this into two different lessons. I'm going to show you how to calculate just the cost per mile today, and tomorrow we're going to incorporate the depreciation on your vehicle. Just kind of like a broad definition of that, though. Depreciation is the value your car loses the longer you own it. So the second you buy a brand new vehicle and you drive it off the lot, the car dealer's lot, it starts to be worth less money. That's why a 5-year-old vehicle, you can't get out of it what you bought it for, right? The vehicles get worth less the longer you own them, the more miles you have on them and whatnot. And we'll look at that tomorrow. So just keep this in mind. We're going to look basically at fixed costs and variable costs. So what you do to calculate the cost per mile is you add those together. How much does it cost you to own it? How much does it cost you to run this vehicle, to own it? And then you divide that by how many miles you've driven in a year, or just depending on the problem, maybe the life of the vehicle. So basically, make sure that you're dividing by the right number. Okay, your costs, your annual variable and annual fixed costs, you're going to add those up and divide it by how many miles you drive in a year. Okay, so the first one here I've given this is kind of like a table. Basically, just add all your junk up and divide it by how many miles. So Ann purchased a used vehicle for $4,000 a year ago. She drove 9,000 miles during the year and kept a record of all of her expenses. She estimates the vehicle's present value at $3,200. What is the cost per mile for Jones to operate her vehicle? So this one, you specifically have the depreciation value. We'll work with actually finding it tomorrow. So we've added up all of her gasoline, oil changes, maintenance. She got to buy a new tire. That's a pretty cheap tire. Insurance for the year, license, registration, and she estimates it's lost $800 in value. So we're going to add up all of the variable costs to get the $973.20 down there, and we're going to add up all of the fixed costs to get the $1,261.65. Okay, so I got a total for that. When I add these together, the $973 and the $1,261, I got a total of $2,234.85. I'm going to divide that by the 9,000 miles she drove. It is cost per mile. That means cost divided by mile. So in case you flip these around, you're going to get the wrong answer. Your cost, your price, your dollar amount divided by miles. So it cost her exactly 25 cents a mile to own and operate her vehicle. Okay, this one I just kind of cleaned up some of there's not as much there. You've got fixed, variable, miles driven. So literally add up the first two. Maybe this is just me being a math teacher, but once you got your calculator, 1,900 plus 1,700, make sure you hit equals before you divide by 10,000, or you are just dividing the 1,700 by 10,000. So 1,900, 1,700, that's $3,600 divided by 10,000. Cost this person for this vehicle 36 cents a mile. Okay, same thing for the last one, 21, 37, 26, 24.91, 24. Going to divide that by 12,000 miles. 39 cents a mile on that one. Okay, both relatively inexpensive vehicles to drive, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what's good or what's bad on that, but so again, the next slide is about the depreciation. So we're going to stop here and we'll pick up with that tomorrow. So tomorrow's assignment, you're going to have this plus the depreciation to figure in.